Howdy, hi, everybody. Merhaba, dzień dobry, hola, good dog, sawadee, and many other great greetings. Now, this was all done with webcam, and everything was set up correctly, and the webcam, which is my commentary and my voice, bugged. So what I was ended up with was the film and the game sound, which actually isn't a bad deal. But what I'm going to do is just do commentary on this. A lot of it speaks for itself. I'm starting to use the crock pots. Most of it's meatballs and stuff like that. Now, after this brief little bit, all the rest of it is at 250% speed up. So it's 2.5 times normal speed. So we'll be rolling right along. A lot of it's chopping trees and stuff like that. It seems to be, I don't know, I opened it up by saying there's just going to be mistakes made by me. There's just too much and too many different things going on, and trying to run 2 different camps this early in a game. And actually with Wigfried, I'm further along than I would normally be in a game, so it's been kind of it's actually, that's a bad thing, because like at the first camp, everything's too close together. Now, I am not extremely knowledgeable about all the aspects of this, but one of the things I saw about Summer was Flingomatics having trouble keeping up because one thing set fire to another. So it was constantly chasing the fire through your objects. So what I'm going to try to do is set up another Ice Flingomatic up at the first camp. And this will be the summer camp. I don't know how fast the bunny holes recover, because right now they're collapsed from the rain. I'm really low on silk. I was counting on having a third level. Well, I'm kind of on the food chase. And honestly, I'm a little bit burned out on Wigfried. I think she's an excellent character. I still think she's overpowered, but the whole meat chase thing is starting to wear me down. I think once you get the crock pots and you can do different things, and you have honey ham and all that, that would probably open up more. But she's just, I don't know, she's too two-dimensional perhaps, but and I haven't played her that long, so maybe that's not a fair thing to say. Here I'm just trying to, I don't know how much to pile in here until I've been through a summer with the Flingomatics. Alright, now we're into the speed up. What I'm doing here is just pounding doodads. Never thought I'd say that in a video, but I'm pounding doodads so I can make Flingomatics and the Icecube. Now, when I looked it up, originally Icecube could be fixed by the sewing kit. Now, I guess Wiki's saying it's fixed by adding ice to it now, so I've got to think that means the sewing kit won't fix it. So anyway, also it occurred to me that trying to avoid getting wet at all is kind of not necessarily the best strategy. That as long as you don't get wet enough that it hurts you, that it's detrimental to what you're doing, you need to do stuff. You need to have a tool in your hand. Now, my original thought was to wear the raincoat and go without the storage, and it's just, I don't know, I'm really a backpack kind of guy, and it's just easier to take the hit and go on. Now, somebody sent me a comment, and I don't know if I've given credit for it or not yet, and I've got to follow this right now, so if I haven't, I'll try to find it. But they mentioned you can get hit points and sanity back from beating on lure plant eyes. In fact, I'm sure I've written that in a comment or a response to the comment. I don't know if I've given credit to the person that sent it to me in a video or not. But anyway, just chasing frogs, chasing fish, and I don't know if I would have had to be down here harvesting food. Another thing that occurred to me is it might be worth running a regular backpack and the piggy backpack so that when you're running around with the umbrella, you're not getting that big penalty from the piggyback backpack. You know, because normally you can take care of that by, and that tumbleweed was caught between those two trees. I hadn't seen that before. But anyway, normally you're compensating for the piggyback pack by using a walking stick. But with the umbrella, you can't do that. There's several times where I just say screw it and run with the walking stick. See, all this stuff is too close together, and I'm not sure what to do with the farms. I was thinking about putting a Flingomatic up here, but if one of the problems is things side by side setting fire to each other, it seems like you just wear out the fuel in if you don't know, you can fuel them up. I think it's rot and logs, spoilage in logs, but I'm not. You might want. I would check that because I don't have that information in front of me right now. And like the drying racks, I would have put those far enough apart that they couldn't set fire to each other. Because really, a drying rack isn't the end of the world. I think I care more about my level 2 science machine, my refrigerator, and whatever's in my chest. So, and maybe that lightning rod. I would think they could burst into flames. I don't know. But I wonder if you have to stagger your crops, and because I've seen, I had a comment that, and again, I don't have it in front of me, but that you could revive plants with a Flingomatic. All right, there's the ice cube was made. I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was doing that. And what Wiki's saying right at this moment, and they're changing stuff so fast, which is cool because they need to get this done. But what they're saying now is if you make the ice cube hat, you can put it in the refrigerator and keep it forever. So I'm kind of counting on that. I'm trying to get things done before summer is actually here. So one Flingomatic here, one in what will be all but maybe the winter camp. Although I may move up here in autumn. There's so much that I'm not. Normally in a startup game, you know, at any given time, it's just a choice of this route or that route. It's not, gee, what in the hell should I be doing? As far as the priorities. I think I made a third Flingomatic and just put it away. And that machine just needed to be gone. And inventory just biting me in the ass. I just needed more chests, and the moles are an interesting thing. You don't want to throw rocks like I've got down, or it's just a lot going on in the game in Reign of Giants. And like I said, that's as it should be. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying. And I just have to accept there's going to be mistakes in these videos where I should have done one thing and didn't. I think cranking out the doodads, so you've got I don't know, probably some of you have got a better grip of the mathematics of it all, and it's more automatic for you. To me, it's not anymore with the meds I have to take. But getting the doodads cranked out so I can think, all right, now 6 doodads is 1 hat, 2 Flingomatics, you know. Reducing things to a simpler state. And of course, with all this stuff, that monster dried, it was just happened to be dried. It's all that stuff's going to be meatballs. There's actually beehives close enough that I could do a bee box, but then you have to have the silk, to have the net, to catch the butterflies, to yada yada yada. Now that I have the crock pots, the berry bushes for filler would be really good. But I suspect that space in those at least would be a good idea. Because I think at some point you could probably have Flingomatics just about everywhere, but you'd spend all of your summer running from one to the next just filling them up. And I don't know, I've talked to a couple of people, and including Asalani, and it's one of the fun things about this game has always been there are different ways to deal with things. And it seems like summer is pretty much the Icecube hat and the Flingomatic, and I do think that part of the solution could obviously be smaller bases, but there's so much crap you need now. And I think I had 13 gold when I started this, and I got one more from the machine I broke down, so that's 14 gold is 7 doodads. And what is it? 3 stone for each cut stone. So say 10 doodads is 30 stones. So just making those little suckers is, you know, a ton of stone and gold. Now the frogs were actually being pretty decent and jumping into the traps a lot on their own, and I don't think I got the rain of frogs. And I haven't got the whole, I know you drop a rock and get the mole to surface and kill it, but I haven't really got that routine down yet, and I think spring isn't the time for me to be. Once I get through summer and I'm in the fall, I'll feel like I have more time. And the reason I haven't had her trying to get all her sayings out is I think a lot of people already know them, and I've just been really focused on trying to do the best I can with each season. And what I'm trying to, I think at this point, I was thinking about gathering more ice, because once you start going through ice, it's, if I didn't have to put more ice in the Icecube, I think that would be, and it really worries me that they're going to do something where the Icecube does not hold up in the freezer, or that ice does not hold up in the freezer, because then you just have a big old nasty mess. I don't know if tumbleweeds just travel your whole world or not. And see, if you do keep your grass and sticks further apart, it increases the time involved in that. I am probably at this point getting ready to go on the silk harvest and see if I can find a spider egg. And I decided as long as where I was, yep, nope, not yet, more fishing. But see, I didn't do anything but reset these traps, and the frogs were kind enough to run into them. You can spend the time like I did earlier, where you get where you aggro the frogs and kind of pull them into the traps over and over, if you want to build up frog legs. One of the other problems is, I think rabbits have a high. Well, I know live rabbits certainly had a higher keep time. But fish and frog legs are 2 of the higher spoiling items. I'm hoping on the next update that, which should be what, 4 or 5 days shortly, they wanted to bring out one of the giants on this update, so hopefully we'll have a giant in the next update. Now, Isolani pointed out I have shown every season between Wolfgang and Wigfried, but I really haven't shown a summer with Flingomatics and actually basically that. All right, here's where I'm planning out the, I've got 2 choices. I've got that spider. I really need more silk. I've got that spider, and I've maybe foolishly let my silk hat run out. It's still, to me, with a sewing kit taking 8 silk and the hat taking 6, repairing silk hats is kind of, I don't know what the min-max is on that, if it's worth repairing them or not. I would think it just barely is. So here's where I'm stocking up on food to go kill spiders, and since that ice was down there, I decided to go after that too. And there's time's just going by so fast that, not just because of the speed up, I mean in the game, that 8 minute days and Don't Starve are some of the shorter games I've experienced, days I've experienced in games. But I don't bother to trap the spiders. I figure just going down and kill them. And I evidently mismarked these wormholes because this one up here has one to the sign to the side, and the one where I come out has the sign at the top. So I don't know what the hell I did there, but I did remember where it went. So we're off to bash spiders in the head. And of course I've got this silly ass pig down here getting his ass beat. What I wanted really, really badly was, because summer, I think being around the Flingomatics is going to be important. See, Wolfgang got through his summer just by not having anything. He basically had nothing to burn up, and I ran away from the camp, but I've heard your camp can burn up when you're not there, so I don't know. But what I really wanted was a tier 3 spider nest so I could harvest the egg and plant it. Now, this Maxwell set piece here still has the rhino and knights in it. And it was kind of a toss-up. Do I kill them and grab some more gears, or do I go for the ice? And I decided the ice would do me more good this summer, because I don't seem to be short on gears. And the nest went to tier 3 to oblige me, evidently. The spear is to cut down on wear and tear on the tentacle spikes. I still think the ham bat's the best way to go, but it's just a matter of, do I stop and go find a pig, or do I, meat, or do I just keep on doing this? And all this monster meat can translate into meatballs or meaty stew or whatever, so it's all to the good. Now, somebody mentioned that there's no tree guards from birch nut trees yet. And it's, I wondered if it's in the code that way, because these lumpy, ugly fir trees, tree guards were in the code. They just weren't originally spawning tree guards. And I've heard that they may or may not be now. I don't know. Those trees. And off we go to get the ice. But see there, I decided to blow off the umbrella to pick up speed. And I was thinking those were lure plant eyes, and it's rotten eggs, so... It's a great way to work your way into gunpowder before you manage to get your stuff for a bird cage, since you're building so many other things now. That, if you don't know, is where McTusk will spawn in the winter. And there's where I foolishly let the top hat run out. I don't think it's like a catastrophe, because I would have thought about it anyway, but I had 11 silk, which is a sewing kit plus 3, and that leaves me a -3 because of the top hat. So it's... Figured the road kind of compensated for the walking stick. Like I said, the berries now with the crock pots become important as filler. It's one less thing she has to kill. And I just seem to be, I don't know if there's more lure plants or what, but I seem to be collecting quite a few lure plants. I really hope this film comes through. because this has been processed. I played the game, I ran it through, and then you have to save it, and then there was no commentary. So and I had to process that basic film to have a background here, and now it's going to be done at least one more time. It's one reason I decided to condense it all into one video instead of, it would have made about 2. Now, I spent a fair part of the day at the doctor's today. Nothing bad. In fact, probably good things. I think they've got a clue on some of what's making me sick as much as I have been, and they might be able to cut down on it. Those moles look like land seals diving in and out of the dirt. Probably the most glamorous thing that's ever been said about a star-nosed mole. I've never had a cat that would eat a mole. I think they taste like worms. And we're coming up towards the end of it, so thanks for joining me, everybody. And a new hat, I probably forgot to say that, but new Mad Hatter hat from the same people that make the gold Mad Hatter hat, but it's Elope, or Elope, E-L-O-P-E. But I figured I deserved a hat, so